So, are we here?
Well, it's good evening from the studios of Radio FM 88. You're actually on the stream now, simulcast. You can still listen to the radio, or you can go on Alexa, ask Radio FM 88 Australia, or play Radio FM 88 Australia. But now that you're online on Facebook and YouTube, it's Radio FM 88 Australia. Fantastic. Otherwise, you can go on to X, Radio FM 88 Aussie. Afterwards, the show goes on to Spotify, iHeart, Apple, and Amazon. And without further ado, I'm going to leave the Southern Hemisphere and hand the reins over to these two ladies in the Northern Hemisphere. Well, and it's a good morning to you girls.
Thank you. Good morning. Delighted to be here again. And I just simply still have got such a buzz out of the Northern and the Southern Hemispheres are beautifully connected. And I have a fabulous guest today, Penelope, or Penny. She's in Mallorca in Spain, and her topic today is going to be conversing with life. And here we are in live on a live studio. Off we go. Penelope, welcome.
We go. Thank you, Pauline and Jeff. So lovely to be here with you and your listening community. It's a real honor.
Oh, where are you? Go on, Penny.
Okay, so let's get started and converse a little bit with, what do you mean by conversing with life? Aren't we here just doing whatever we're doing? Do we have to be talking about it?
talking about it. Yeah, well, we constantly are, isn't it? Like, I do think that life is always inviting us into a conversation. You know, I think it is, whether it's the breeze you feel on your skin, or the morning that comes, or the conversation you don't want to have. That's all about stepping into a conversation, like a missing conversation. Can we turn up and be really present to what is needed for that connection? And it could be a conversation with ourselves. You know, how am I resetting? How am I feeling? How am I feeling resourceful in this moment? Or with others, you know, whether that's our loved ones, the people that we work with, our communities. What are the missing conversations? What are the conversations that will create something spectacular and innovative and creative? And then it's the earth. I think I love Thomas Berry said it's the great conversation, the conversations with the birds and the trees and the nature, wider nature. And so there's an invitation there always. And some people have very, very incredible powers to communicate. We see that with the telepathy tapes, or we see that with animal or plant communication. So it's there. It's and always inviting us in. It's just paying attention to that. And I'm curious about that. And I created Earth Converse because it came out of a long history of my career. I say long, you know, like that's. So I started up in sustainability. I went into leadership. And it was a point, it was a threshold where I had led a team, a very clever team in the UK, about regenerating an area in West London. It was West London's biggest business park. And it was like, how do we regenerate that? And experts from, you know, all different fields. I had my iconic, you know, urban planner, Peter Hall, at the time. There was a financier, there was an environmentalist. They had a huge team, and we created this great strategy. But what happened is that strategy was 3 boroughs or 3 councils, 3 areas, authorities, and it didn't really fly at the time because of those leaders would not be able to converse with each other in a way that really they could listen and be present and hear different points of view and co-create something. So that was my point, was like, right, I'm going into leadership and I'm going to help leaders have the conversations they need to have. And then, so I've done that. And then increasingly, I realized that it is about the wider conversation with Earth. So that's what I'm about. So let's chat.
It reminds me a little bit when you talk about the 3 leaders of the borough councils that are not having the conversations they need to have. It's like giving birth to say or speak the unspoken. And then we get into a whole new world of that which is unsaid, but it's actually very present in the room, in the unspoken conversation that's taking place.
Oh, yeah, it's so true, isn't it? And you know, where the courage, like actually, and it's a felt experience, isn't it? You can feel it, like it's not being said, or from what you know, and there's a stirring in you, and it's that moment when you notice that, and it's where you actually make the decision and the courage to say it. And for sure, other people are feeling it because we're energetically linked, right? And it takes so much courage to stand up, but there's a whole system that doesn't want you to say it. I mean, that's human history. We're seeing it very much with the Epstein files, right? Epstein files, you know, like to stand up and speak out takes some doing.
Wow, that's just one example. I imagine. I don't know what's in the Epstein files. I'm not even concerned too much. What's there is there, and what's done is done. But that's me being very pragmatic about, I don't have that great a deal of interest, but I do get that there's a whole world of unknowns. I think I'd
Well,
rather
essentially, yeah, Charles Eisenstein, I love his writings, and he wrote recently about that. Actually, it's the biggest thing, you know, Kennedy being shot, but actually what it's unraveling is the system behind it, and also the things that have been kept out of our knowledge, like telepathy, or the things that go on, or what we, you know, like actually what is, you know, communication with other beings. So there's a whole unraveling of that. And he also says that, you know, there's part of him in us, and that actually if we go into that black or white or things like that, if we can't elevate that conversation to actually look at restorative justice and actually look at the world we actually want, so it's
dreaming a new dream.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we have to do. We are Homo imagines. You know, we've got this incredible cognitive ability. Yeah, that's a term from Bill Plotkin's partner, Janine Haugen. But I love that. That's it. You know, we can do that. And yeah, where other beings can do that too, in terms of anticipate. We've seen that in Pavlov's theory, plant medicine. But yeah,
that's a great way of looking at that which nobody particularly wants to look at. It's a part of us that we don't want to look at.
Yeah, we're all one, right? At the end of the day, it's all parts of us, you know. So I think that, I think that's interesting. That's a really hard pill to swallow, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, my take on it is that money came out of nowhere to finance Mr. Epstein, and the honeypot traps are always set by state-sponsored operators. We've seen that with bloody James Bond, or, you know, every country has it. I mean, and I told him about the French where they blew up Rainbow Warrior. It's still state-sponsored, but somewhere along the line, they've actually gone and controlled various sectors of business and religion and politics, to the point that what would be normal common sense is not, and even the judiciary, it's not coming across as common sense, and it's been subjugated to manipulation to the ends of, well, that's the issue. Who's really benefiting from it all at the very end? And my feeling on it is that it goes to a little country there in the Mediterranean that seems to get away with a lot of, genocide. That's my take.
Where are you saying?
I'm saying that, if we're going to name the country, I'd say Israel is benefiting from the fact that what happened with 1,200 of their indigenous people, to the fact of over, 40,000, 60,000 across the world were taken out. That just defies imagination, and the fact that the world didn't stand up and step up.
Yeah, and that's continuing.
Yeah, and it seems to me that they were the people who can make the decisions were compromised. And obviously, for England and the ambassador for Australia and the ambassador for Norway all stepping out and resigning. The former Prime Minister of Norway stepping out, being arrested. The rabbit hole seems to be this chock-a-block full of people who've been caught in the honey.
Yeah, something supporting that system, isn't it? Like it's something that, it's the collusion, isn't it? I mean, I remember a wonderful, phrase from one of my, what do you call them? Supervisor in terms of coaching leadership. What are your areas of collusion, delusion? Collusion, illusion, delusion. And I think that he goes, ask yourself that daily. And I think that that's really powerful, because it's how are we under illusion, put the wool from our eyes, and actually are we colluding through our non-action or our action? And that's at an individual level, and it's a systemic level, isn't it?
There used to be an ad on TV from McDonald's, and it was about kids. And, in the playground, and we'll take you back to your home at Riversdale there, and there might be like a school of about 50, and you might be coming home, going to lunch, and they say, let's play King Orsini or Red Rover or something. And so they might say, well, I'll pick you, Penelope, so you're the fastest runner in the school. And they let you run, and they'll pick you all the time because they're going to let you run and wait till you drop, because you'll just keep running, and they'll be able to pick up the weak, and then build up their whole gathering of people who they're going to pull you down because you're the strongest, but they've weakened you because they've got you to run, keep on running up and down, and they pulled you in. And so in the McDonald's ad, it comes and says, pick Pauline. Why? Because her dad's going to take us to McDonald's after the game.
There you go. Yeah,
that's all tribal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And yes, it is. But we want our freedom. We want connection. We want to desperately belong, and we don't want to be cut out of the tribe. And we've got this and we keep ourselves small, and we don't want to speak up, and we want to
True.
And I'm listening to all of you talking about people who've been compromised, and they've been colluded. And to me, how can you be compromised if you're just being you and you're being human? There is no compromising with being human. And it's just the manipulation and utilization of shame, that somebody doesn't want something to be seen in public. Well, what's the difference between being seen in public and in private? It's a big question. And perhaps shame has a fair bit to do with it. Who knows?
Shame's a powerful
and if
tool.
we weren't ashamed, if we weren't ashamed of being, and how that penetrates into us and gets conditioned into us in the very beginning, then how can you be compromised? It's not possible.
Yeah, I do think this is like how we are on this earth, aren't we, as unique individual beings, and we're all one. And I think that's like, how do I be my sovereign self, and in relationship with, whether it be another person, AI, the media, the public. I see it like how it can blow up, like in terms of Mallorca. What's Mallorca's identity in relationship to Catalonia or Spain? Like there's always this solo together, this what is our
yes.
uniqueness and what is
So
our
together.
connection. And so I think there's sort of, I mean, it's, yeah, I do think, I don't know, to not be compromised. We're still in relationship, aren't we? So we might be compromised,
Yeah.
even if we're in our, but the more that we're in our sovereignty, that's more difficult to do, to be compromised, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's like, yeah, there is a system that, wants to control you. And
All right.
yeah. So I
Good.
I believe in, what's this sort of like, there's so much out of our control, but what is in our control? And I find that hopeful. I think that's the only thing we can do. So that's my whole leadership mission, is to help people feel into that resourcefulness, into that. And so they can truly be in service to the wider people and planet. Because we can't influence other people, or change other people, but we can certainly focus on ourselves, right? And in doing so, we turn up differently in the world.
So, shall we dream a new dream? Shall we co-dream? What did you call ourselves? Homo imaginings?
Homo imagines. Yeah.
Homo imagines. So, in your imaginings, what would you see as very hopeful in the future? Well,
God, there's so
sowing the
much,
seeds
but
right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
I do
so
love
much.
the idea, freedom. None of us are free until we're all free. I think free to choose, free from our mind, to free our heart, free our souls. So that freedom, that sovereignty. And from doing that, we can then co-create. I think there's as many dreams as possible. So my dream is around, freedom and deep connection and co-creativity. I think there's things like, a peaceful world, or a creative world, or a just world, a regenerative world, all these things. But fundamentally for me, it's that combination, that we can sit in that paradox of our freedom and our connection. And so when we do that, it's really what's possible. What is actually my potential? So actually, in terms of like telepathy, or oh my goodness.
Take a look at that, dear.
I know, yeah, just where she came from.
Oh my goodness! Like tumbleweed. Hello, dear Riversdale. This is where. It's actually,
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I went back to New Zealand like two Christmases ago to see my mum, and I went to I had to go in, and I went to that shop, that Foursquare, that's the bar. I went into the bar. That's the post office. That post office there is where the post office closed when I was 15. And I remember the impact it had on our community. And that got me into sustainability, because I believed that there was sort of one little decision and all the knock-on effects of what it influenced, because the older people could no longer, they didn't gather there. They had to go to the bus to the next town. And so I was just like, wow, one of those decisions makes all that impact. That's why I got into sustainability. Yeah. The hub.
So,
Bless
what's
it.
the hub there? What's the hub?
Well, I'm not too sure, because I haven't been there for a long time, but it looks like
All
mission
right.
training, global disciples. There you go, in the middle.
Wow.
Global
And what's the,
disciples are everywhere.
I wonder what they've put underneath it. It's
Brilliant.
something railway or
Yeah.
brilliant.
But
So this is your hometown. This is where you were born and grew up.
Yep.
Wow.
Dad was a vet there, and actually it was so lovely, because when I turned up there, because I went to go and see the cemetery, I went to see the where we used to live and everything like that, and and I went in, and the supermarket is one of those, now it used to be so full and abundant, and now it's one of those really depressing sort of abandoned
was
kind
a
of ones.
military
But the
station.
person that Dad
Yeah, yeah.
worked with was there, and it was just such a lovely moment, just a lovely, like, of course, Viv was going to be there just randomly with her children, it was just lovely. Yeah, the petrol station. I mean, this is, used to ride my pony. The school, that's the fire station. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
And down that road is the school. So where we used to play, Red Rover. So down
Down
there.
here, this is where you went to school, is it?
Yeah, on the
This
left-hand
is
side.
amazing.
This is our primary,
Left-hand
That's it.
side. Keep going,
Run
Jeff.
it.
We're not there yet.
Yeah. But we used to run around, like I look
Here,
here in Palma,
this is
and
your
there's
school.
that's my school. Yeah.
Isn't that's amazing? That here we are with all this technology,
I know.
and you're in
Isn't it
Spain, I'm
wild?
in England, Jeff's in Australia, and we're looking down a road in New Zealand. This is phenomenal.
So AI does some kind of work, there are some benefits out there. There are some benefits.
And I'm
that's
so
fun.
it's exciting. It's
so
exciting to
much
see the
fun.
school that you went to, primary school, both primary and secondary.
Oh, and my niece, so she was born here, and she was like, "What? Where do I belong?" And Mum goes, "Like you're Mallorquin." And she goes, "No, but I'm not, am I? Because she knows she speaks Mallorquin and Castellano and English, but she goes, but I'm not from here, because she feels it. She knows, with her friends that they have got roots here, so she was really keen to get some photos from Riversdale going, like finding that connection in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It was really sweet.
Wow.
Like, where do I belong? Yeah. But now I'm actually funny because you see where I've come from. I rejected being in a small town for so long. I moved, I moved to Queenstown, which is the cool place. I went to Auckland, I studied in Dunedin, and then Auckland, and then lived in London, and then lived in Trieste, lived in Rome. So these bigger places for anonymity. And then I find myself in a little pueblo called Pushpunyant, in it's like a sacred bowl here in Mallorca. It is just charming, but it's a tiny little village. And I've returned to that and feeling that sense of community. And I don't even speak, I don't speak the languages really. And I've been able to connect through, through turning up in community, whether that be, doing mountain running with others. My friend and I created this trilingual theatre for the kids. I take them on vitamin nature walks or something like that. So yeah.
What's the name?
It's called Pushpunyant. I'll put it in the chat. Pushpunyant. Yeah. So it's lovely.
Jeff can find that. So
yeah,
where you are in the world.
And at the moment, I don't know. We have like the almond. So it's February, but it's the almond blossom is out, and there's a lovely story of the almond blossom, because there's the myth of the Moorish king married a Nordic princess, and so she missed the snow in January and February, so he ordered that they plant almond trees across the island, and so there she could see the white snow, the white snow of the leaves.
So it was blossom snow.
Yeah, so it's just beautiful at the moment. And yes, and actually there's a strong wind which actually makes it, some of the blossom sort of actually go on the ground. So that's a lovely
yeah. Wow.
There we go, isn't it? There we go. Pushpunyant. And it's under a beautiful big mountain called Pushta Galazzo. And there we go. You can see it at the background. Yeah, that's it. And so it's a very, it's kind of sacred site. The Ayument, Yes, the Torrente. That finally we had some rains, and we've actually had some water. Yeah. Well, you've been here, Pauline.
I have been to visit you there.
You have. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yes. And all that walking that we did. You do like a good walk.
Do you remember? Yeah, that Esquerra
Yes,
walk.
my feet do.
Yes. Yeah. That's a
Oh,
very special
wow.
place. Yeah. No, Mallorca is really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the alioli, looking at the food, and that was the alioli was where I was
A
first
lot of chips
introduced
there,
to
isn't
it.
there?
With
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
very simple oil and garlic, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really delicious. Yeah, that says
Wow.
prawn.
Oh,
No.
so we've had a trip down your
Isn't it?
school days,
Yes.
your
Lovely
and
connecting
now
our
here you
worlds.
are from,
What was that?
yeah. I
What did
said
you
we've
say?
had a trip down with Jeff's help down to your when you were at school,
Yes.
your growing up days, your early
Yes.
years, your early
Yes. Well, now
imprint.
my early imprint. Well, that's where we
Yeah,
met, didn't we? At the early
this
imprints
is
in
where you and I
Scotland.
met.
Mm.
Yeah, the
Which
Kingdom
is,
of
it just
Fun.
reminds us of those fundamental years can, influence us, and we can make a choice of, releasing. You had Manai here on on the last week.
Mhm,
So, where we release that and reinform with a memory, a vision that we want to keep. And so that's
mhm.
empowering, right?
Yeah. Well, I love that it was so joyful for me to sit because even though we've known each other for so long, I haven't looked at, well, the primary school that you went to. This is a treat for me. Yeah. Oh no, this is Mallorca, isn't it? This is
Yeah.
back where you are now. And that beautiful idea of blossom, almond
Mm.
blossom creating the snow. That's
Yeah.
very quaint. Very, very quaint.
Very
So what are
romantic,
you
isn't it?
doing these
Yeah.
days? Yeah,
What am I
romantic
doing?
and quaint, and I love it. Yeah.
What am I
So what are
doing
you
these
doing these
days?
days with Moonai? You're working with Moonai, are you?
Yeah, so we met about 3 years ago, and it was a lovely synergy. And we would walk and and talk and what have you. And she came on one of my experiences called Solo Together, which is like a micro vision quest. It's a little bit of my tradition is in the background of vision quests, which is the little bit of the walkabout in a way, is that it's
Mm-hmm.
what humans
Ah.
have always done is to for their own inspiration, connection, and belonging, they detach from day to day and they go out into the wilderness, solo, fasting, to bring in a vision. And then they come back with their gifts and and they come back to the community. So I do that. I do a little mini version of that. And Munai went on that and she said, what you do is very, very simple, but very profound, because it is actually just inviting people to be in silence, in solitude with nature. And so
Ah.
so she had an idea. So she with it was called Gateway to Your Essence at the time. And then she went into this original intelligence. So she's brought a team together and we run these retreats. So I bring the nature-based leadership perspective. And so, like, for example, our next retreat, which you talked about, is about release. And so there
Ah.
are ways that we can co-create with nature to help us release. And so, for example, I use the example of my niece and nephew. They go, I take them out to the mountains, they go, can we scream? Like
Ah.
going out to nature by ourselves is a sacred space. It's a private space. Nature's not going to judge you for whatever you do. So there's practices that we can call them like self-generated ceremonies where you embody what you want to do. For example, like screaming out there or throwing stones. I want to release that belief, and so I get a big boulder and I throw it. And so it's enacting what you want to release. Or there's things like
Yeah.
I invite people, maybe it's just breaking a stick. I want to break that habit. So when I think of that, I not only think about my intention, I physically do it. And so our body remembers, our body remembers sound
Yeah.
or the physicality of that. Or like, there's a participant last year and he really struggled with giving up smoking, and it wasn't part of his identity. In fact, it was like it's a real health issue, particularly for him, given his lungs. And so I invited him to bury his that fear, bury that habit. And he literally did put his like his tobacco in the ground. And there's something really powerful about that. So this is what I bring into the retreats. But original intelligence is just I'm a collaborator with original intelligence. It's a wonderful team, and I'm really excited about seeing the team and Bunai's vision of the world coming. And really excited. I follow her books. Her books are going to come out. She's got incredible offerings. I'm really excited about that for me. But alongside, I've got my own Earth Converse. So I work with leaders and organizations at particular thresholds. And so that's what I do. I can elaborate on that. Do you want me to elaborate on that?
You can. I'm intrigued. Did you follow up on the man who buried his cigarettes or his tobacco?
Yeah.
How is he these days?
Yeah. He's given up. He's
Has
really
he actually literally buried it?
Yes.
Has he buried that habit?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean,
Brilliant.
I remember smoking back in the 20s, and I remember going, actually, it was changing the space for me. I moved country, moved town, and also it wasn't part of my identity. So I think that when it's not the identity, the dream you have for yourself, you can easily, it's easier to give up to a habit. So he had a different, after the retreat, he had a different vision of himself. And part of that contribution was him doing this bearing, so it's all of us. The retreat is a multidimensional experience. And so I'm not saying that he just by bearing that, he gave up. There's more to it.
No.
To
It was
that.
a ripening process.
Yes, exactly.
And that was the ripe moment.
Yeah. I do believe in timing. I believe in ripeness. I really, and how do we help prepare ourselves for ripeness? And Munai talked about that, didn't she? The retreat's really amazing. Like, we do this liver detox, so the facilitators do it too. It's like we walk the talk. And there's just processes and unpeeling of the onion, the releasing. Yeah. To prime ourselves for ultimately what we can really dream.
Yeah. So the releasing creates the space for the invitation for what's new, for the new dream to come in. And it can be substantially different to the last incarnation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what helps you? What sustains you? How do you feed yourself, but not physically, in a non-physical way, in order to be able to do this work? What feeds you?
Yeah, I love that. I'm fascinated by all the ways we can reset and resource ourselves. That's part of what my real offer about that. Like, once again, how as our own, what can we control, and what can we do? So I have a meditation practice. That's what I started really in terms of my own parallel leadership journey. Vipassana meditation. So I have continued that for many years, and that has helped resource me in terms of slowing me down, helping me see my thoughts, bringing in compassion, a sensitivity. So in fact, from that, I was able to then connect with nature in a different way, because I had this sensitivity through meditation. And so my nature-based practices sustain me. So I am every day out there, or connecting in a way. Even if I am in a city, I will find that. In fact, you can do it right now, can't we? We can honor the air right now, the sacred element of air right now. We can, or the saliva in my mouth, honor water. I can feel the heat of my body.
Yes.
And honor the fire. I can feel my body in contact with the chair. I can honor the element of earth, so I do these, so Vipassana, nature-based practices, and there's just a multitude of that. And then I think sustain a great, like whether it's a great conversations. I love great conversations, and thank you again for this one, you know, like, so there's that. I think I've started a wisdom workout, which is just like an online inner gym. Each week I invite people to come in and just sort of, to anchor themselves. And I think these are acts of self-leadership where we reflect on the week, and then what do we want to resource ourselves in for, you know, resource to the next phase. And we talked about like habits, and I would say that I have, you know, a multitude of habits, from waking up to greeting the morning to saying goodnight to the night, like in terms of little practices on a day-to-day level that bring me into presence and connect me with the sacred, because life is sacred. And so I feel like I'm earth conversing throughout the day, because I can connect with myself, have a conversation with myself, others, and the earth. And so that's what sustains me. Yes. And and I've gone through some tough times, and it's been, you know, but it's those practices help me be resourceful, you know. So yes, that's what I offer. I offer to myself, and then of course I can offer that to others with integrity.
Yes. And so it sounds like there's a whole world of conversation that's beyond words. It's not about forming words, but there's, like you say, the elements, the earth, the fire, water, air, everything is there if we choose to tune into it and recognize that a conversation doesn't have to be what we're doing right now. There is a conversation, but it is our conversations. It is as if you're sitting right next to me. You happen to be in technology thousands of, well, good few hundred miles away, 800 or 1,000, I don't know how far away you are, but you are sitting next to me, and the connection is real. It's always lovely.
Yes. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? That felt, you know, energetic. The more I get more sensitive, and the more I know about like energy. I mean, you two are more versed in energy than I am, but I feel it, like I feel that the truth of that, you know. I don't Yes, it's a felt experience. Might have studied physics a little bit when I was younger, but there's this connectivity. Yeah. And to remember that.
Jeff's interlude with taking you back to, just because he happens to be in Australia, he's here in this conversation. He's in the room together.
Yeah.
Together, solo.
Yes, exactly. Solo together. We're always that. That's the dance. That's the dance. Yeah.
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 1,501 miles, mate. It is.
Oh, what was that?
1,501 miles. I just thought it.
Is it?
We've already done it. Well, he and Google are a font of all knowledge.
What's it between here and Brisbane? What's it between Mallorca and Brisbane?
Oh, hang on a sec.
Make him work.
Yeah. I'll take a sip of my olive tea while I'm
1 day, 2 hours.
Wow, look at that.
Incredible. Yeah.
So you could be there how many hours?
26 hours.
This time tomorrow.
That's direct. Oh,
Yeah.
Two more stuff. That'll be either with Emirates or Qatar. No, airlines.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to go and see Mum. Yeah.
And one of the things I like about Radio FM Australia is that it is a community radio station, but it's the world. The whole world is the community pulling together. And this is just a fantastic example of, we can be in 3 different countries and still very connected. Behind me, there's a picture of Glastonbury, the tour at Glastonbury, again, another sacred site that just beams and pushes out, I think, beauty and love and silence to the world. And in
it's become a very
silence,
important place to you, right?
I've grown very fond of it, yes.
Yes. I really do think about these, like people in place. And I like the idea, somebody said that if you really resonate with somebody, it must have been a past life as well. And I like that idea.
Could be.
Yeah. But our connection, how do we connect with the place that we're here? And I mean, you were talking about your dream, and it's really interesting. It is. It's like at our doorstep. And so that's the thing, isn't it? What can we do with ourselves and with what's right here in our world? And that will have a ripple effect, of course. And opportunities here, where we can have that local but global reach. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. And since we've been talking, I've been reflecting on my return to my father's place and my mother's place. My sister was there recently to see. It's all derelict. It's a very, very solid little cottage in Ireland, and the same way that in my father's place. And again, that's a fairly substantial village or town, but he lives outside of it, and there's a mass of distance between people. But there they all are, everyone. My mother used to say she used to come back to London for anonymity.
Yeah, sure. I get
it. I really do. Yeah.
I get it.
And I just wanted to introduce into the conversation, both you and I have a great love of poetry together.
We do.
Rumi and John O'Donoghue, Anam Cara, many others. So this is something that between us we have shared quite a bit of in the past. And I'm just wondering, do you have something spontaneously that instantly comes to mind when it?
I love that. So
poetry.
Yes, I think poetry, I like, it's the conversation with the soul, isn't it? So
Yes.
Yeah. So, and one of my things I do quote, there's sort of two quotes that guide me in my leadership. Is like, don't seek for love. That's a Rumi quote. Don't seek for love, or don't seek for X, whatever it is, but seek to remove all the barriers you've built up against it. And I think that's my own sort of leadership philosophy. There's also the quote of, between right doing and wrong doing, there's a field. I'll meet you here, which, goes back to what Charles Eisenstein said about what we're going to do, like, how do we elevate the conversation? How do we really break out systemically from that? I love that.
Yeah.
John O'Donoghue's The Book of Blessings that you gave me.
Yes.
I love that. But I do have one. I will quote one. So okay.
Oh, go.
Okay. I've been on something. Who are you if not my world? I breathe in and you breathe out, and our hearts beat at the same pace. Isn't my soul purpose here just to love you unconditionally, unashamedly, boldly, and to turn up as if we hadn't never seen each other before? And I know I hurt you in my ignorance, and I'm humbled as you spin around in the grit and the gold, and how you never shy away from any thought or feeling that I may have. And even if I pull away, not quite believing in the magic we can co-create, I will not abandon you. I will not abandon us. You are my light, my shadow, a mirror to my soul. You are my one true love, dear Earth.
It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous, and it just flows from you effortlessly. It's an absolute delight.
Thank you.
You could be at Stratford-on-Avon.
Wow.
At the Swan Lake.
What was that?
You could be at Stratford-on-Avon at the Avon.
Thanks. But doesn't poetry, I mean, this is the thing, like, I remember, is it Maria Popova, when Trump got first elected, she did a sort of like a slam poetry thing. It's like, because you can't, it was sort of, you can't talk about it in a way, but poetry does find those words, doesn't it? and it's a way of expressing. And I love haikus. I love that simplicity and cutting to the chase.
Yep, the
I
haikus.
think that's yeah. Oh, my sister just is watching. She's in Sydney, making some magic there.
You tell your sister we're the Finn family from Te Awamutu.
Oh, there you go.
No?
Oh, yeah. No. Whoa.
Yeah.
So the family's coming together.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful. You know, you could get your poetry and you could jump onto Sumo. It's the AI website, creates music.
Oh.
Yeah. Because that's at the moment, you know, when you hear the story of Elton John and Bernie Taupin, I mean, that's a book of
Yes.
The concept there was Bernie was the one who wrote the lyrics, which is really poetry, and Elton just had the ear for putting the composition to it. So all that's missing with you is your next leap of faith is to go to Sumo and then speak to your poets and then poetry. Of course, it'll bring the different forms of music in there.
Okay.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
SUMO, sumo, .com?
Well, .com, I would say so. Just jumping in. I'll have a look when we finish.
Just find Sumo. Wow.
Yeah. Like you just have to put in a beat, boom, 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 you know, like 4/4 common time or whatever.
Amazing.
And it'll produce the music, and then you put the different instruments. But you know how we had that chat last week off air, and I said, just if you're going to do it in 4/3/2.
4/3/2.
What do you mean?
Okay, 4/3/2. Ah, yes, 4/3/2. Yes,
4/3/2, is that a magic number?
Yeah,
well, actually,
it's a frequency.
Original,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And of course, I can't remember if the Italian or the French had 4/3/2, and the other one had 4/4/0. So I can't remember which one it was. But the Americans took on board 4/4/0. Yeah, and I think that was because of Rothschilds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it had something missing to it. It wasn't able to resonate. There's always a mismatch in it. And you know, one of the things I've always wanted to do is to put my poetry to music, and I've not been able to find.
Well, there you go. Jeffrey, do you know that she's got her poetry? Has Pauline talked to you about her poetry? Yeah. Well, there you go.
A little bit. Yep.
Yep. Now, while she can talk for English, she doesn't really talk much about the poetry. It's Michelangelo.
Whole book. It's just sitting there waiting, right?
Yeah, Michelangelo doesn't talk.
Yeah, it's been sitting there. I mean, it is on Spotify and poemhunter.com, but yeah, I've got things to play with now for the rest of the week to see what happens with Spo. Brilliant, brilliant. It's another great joy to have invest in. Fantastic. Make any song you can imagine. Make a house song about quitting your job.
Actually, I think I went to a birthday party recently and they had created it, but they had put the words, and it really was something else. And you know, there's an and, isn't there? Like,
yes.
How can giving away our authority? Could I just actually make my own music? You know, like there is something about we give away our skills. And so this rush to be efficient and create. It's nice just to check in with oneself.
Yeah.
Oh, Suno.
Well,
there you go.
The idea of poems to music has been brewing for at least 30 years. So there is a ripening moment.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe it will come to pass. Who knows? But I've seen what some of the earlier AI have done with my poems, and the voices are just awful. So I did my own voice on Spotify at some point in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
Claim your own voice as you're doing it now.
Now, Penelope.
Yes.
In Australia, we would have put you Penny. Yeah.
Yes. I do have. Yes, I am Penny in New Zealand, and Penny most, but in some countries it doesn't. It sounds.
When they say Penelope, you're in trouble. Hey, or Lady Penelope, you know.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, this is me right out of left field. Because of your mental stimulus, would you be under Aries? Are you an Aries?
Yes.
Yeah.
To that.
The second
Yes, I'm
one
an Aries.
is your love. What's your love language then? Is it quality time?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you got
What
five
else
love.
you got?
No, you got your five love languages, but
Yeah.
acts of service, gifts, touch.
Yeah, words.
Words
Yeah,
of
quality time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you say that?
No, just because last Wednesday we had our American show on, which is on a Wednesday morning, but it's actually Tuesday. It was 7 o'clock in Florida, and the guest we had was a guy called Brent. He was an engineer at MIT. I'm getting I'm getting the feedback. Have you got to speak?
I have, yeah. It might be mine.
Yeah, it's coming. So he went 6 years MIT, AAA's. Anyway, he got into writing the first website for Sony PlayStation, and then he got into gaming. But when he got into serious health concerns because he wasn't looking after his body, and then he ventured into the whole area of the holistic healing and looking into the whole concept. Being a scientist, he said, it's already been invented. My job is to pull it apart and then put it back together and see if I can improve it. He took first generation spiritual stuff.
There's some feedback.
There's a lot of feedback coming back.
Still there.
You might have YouTube on or Facebook channel going.
I'll turn this off.
Yeah, so
Any better?
Yeah. Oh, we'll check it out. In the first generation, he called it massage, mantras, acupressure. The second generation was in theta. And the third was observing the human body and its emotional state. And how he learnt that was the master that he went to see. He put him on rollerblades at Venice Beach. And he spent half an hour rollerblading around the bloody car park, and he thought it was just a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. But the guy explained every aspect of his body movement, told him where he had actually triggered off aspects in his body, which affected his whole. So, listening to you, and I think, okay, this is interesting because you love to talk or you love the conversation. So that's a real headspace. The question, and you're really working on the emotional level by getting grounded. And most Indigenous people that I've had the pleasure of working with, particularly the metaphysical teachers, will work with the 4 elements, and they do all the 4 elements. And it's about being grounded and being in balance. So your love for the freedom of thought, and then bringing that consciousness into the body and then embodying it into the earth is your journey. And it's and most people would say, oh, if you go and have a chat with Penelope, it's you're going to get into a real serious conversation, and then you'll sort of miss out on the emotional hearts. That's what he was talking about. It was the emotional heart that he learned was the most important thing, and Gen 3 or 3rd generation healing, and it was quite a profound conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, you're in Spain, you're in the island there, an island to yourself, and you got away from New Zealand, from the mountains to the to a form of culture. But can I just also say to you, I'm sorry, it's your conversation, it's not mine, but I'm just interrupting you. But I used to have some really great discussions, and I'm not an Aries, by the way, with the Archbishop Father Peter Strong from the Orthodox Catholic Church And one of the conversations I asked them was, excuse me, Pete, why does John Paul II, when he comes down off the plane, why does he get down on his knees and kisses the ground? And he said, he invokes the angel of the country to nurture and protect them and guide them. And so I tested that out. So when you talked about the young lady and your family there, and she wants to make that connection, you can either go and meet the angel of New Zealand, who, by the way, is sleeping. Sleeping. It's a bit like Moana, the movie, when she's the island. But you could do the same by asking to meet the angel of Mallorca.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I believe that. I vote. Yeah. I think I bring people into mountains for that connection, and that great reverence for the land that we're here. I do. Yeah. In terms of medicine walks or things like it is blessings. I'm going back to John O'Donoghue, the Book of Blessings. How can we bless? Yeah. Bless the day, bless the land, bless, and give thanks, because we are connected. We can find this is wherever we are in the world, we can feel into that belonging. Yeah.
Years ago, I went over to Brazil to see John of God. I just wanted to see how he logistically operated and did 3,000, 4,000 people a week. So my intention wasn't for the healing, just to see how he worked.
Your curiosity.
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, boom. So anyway, we line up, and for the first time, people, when you go through the room, it's got all the mediums all there and bringing the current in, and then you go and see the guy, and you've had one blink, nanosecond with him, come 3,500 miles to see you, mate, not get nanosecond. Off you go. But what actually happened, we went for lunch, and they had soup. And I thought, I'm going to go back for seconds. Can I tell you, that first bowl of soup was all I needed. And so, inquisitive me, I went and investigated and thought, it was so delicious. It was so nourishing. So I went into the kitchen. I had these humongous big pots, massive pots, to feed all these people. I had these big burners and stuff. And I put my head in the door and I said, it's a really nice soup. How did you do it? You better talk to this lady over here. So I went and spoke to this lady who was a guide. And what had actually happened, the guides get rostered and take their groups, and they got to do certain things on the casa. And her group, their job was to go and peel all the vegetables for the soup. And they were told to get all the vegetables and put them outside on the grass, on the lawn. And they all had to step around and hold hands, and they had to bless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the fact that they were giving up their energetic thing for the benefit of all.
Yeah.
So they did that, and then when they peeled them all and then they put them into the big pot, the ladies in the kitchen, they said, shh, 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 out the door. And they got around in a circle, and they held hands, and they said the blessing for the of the food as it got cooked. So generally speaking, when they were handing it out, it all came from the position of the frequency of love.
Yes.
So when you imbued it, you were filled with, you were just filled, and it was so delicious.
So delicious. Yeah.
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 So there's,
That's
the
true.
old days where used to hold hands, and I don't know how many people do it today. Well, nobody really does it really, because you're all having TV meals and stuff. So around the table, and you say a prayer for the food that you've been given. So there's something to be said for blessing of the food, because there is an energetic alignment with what you're about to eat or what you're going to drink.
Yeah. I've had it. Yeah, I more and more I feel into that. Like, I think that I believe in spirituality. I've always, I've been a sort of an atheist and agnostic, or I haven't really been a believer. But the more and more that I get into this sensitivity, I do think about, like, either my connection with spirit, like actual conversations with spirit. And I just see this reverence, this sacredness, and And I think that any moment you can connect with that. And I think that's incredibly resourceful. I think it is an act of self-leadership. I think it's an act of being a citizen on the earth. I think it's yeah. Thank you for bringing that in.
Well, for the next retreat, you can put in it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, with Munaya, in terms of the love that Melania, I'd love you to have Melania on the show. She's the functional nutritionist, and you would love the conversation, Pauline. That nutrition vibe would be great. But she, the love poured into the food is just phenomenal, and we feel it. Yes,
Pauline,
but that's
book it in.
Book it in. Go on. Yes,
Book it in.
Melania.
Book it in.
Yeah, I'm
I have a space
I'm
next
nudging her.
Book it, Dana.
Book it, Dana.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey,
Well,
I've been doing 3 times of this.
Great. I've never been. I remember going up. I was looking at my grandfather used to come from there, and I went there and to they're called Forest, and somebody said, "Oh, you're going up to Findhorn," and I had no idea what it was. I've actually never returned, but it's a wonderful site. I've got lots of friends here that have lived in community there. Up in Forest. Yeah.
Is that Findhorn there?
Have
Yep.
you been, Pauline?
Yes, I've been. I was there as the gopher.
The gopher. What do you like?
Yeah, there was a friend of mine. She was on a seminar there and I came to accompany her. And in between all different lectures, we would meet around the tea table, and I'd be given a list of things to do, and I'd have them done by the time they came back. And they said, every seminar needs a gopher. And get this done and get. But I had a beautiful time. I remember being here and the wind and the cold. But it was just fabulous. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I brought the subject up is a continuation of the subject with nature is with the Caddies and Doreen McLean and Neil Abercrombie. Those 4 of them came together to create that.
Yes.
Was working with the elements such as the nature spirits and the devas, and working with Pan and working with the elves. That's a really story in itself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And there's some extraordinary things that the elementals will do in order to increase the size of your pumpkins and things. In the early days, there were some phenomenal stories. And of course, Michelangelo knew Peter Caddy very well. Yes, I recognized this place.
Yes,
yeah. There doesn't seem to be so much, the last time I was there, so much attention on the food and the growing and the connection with the earth. A little bit more.
Findhorn Press, Findhorn Music, they were part of that initial David Spangler. He was the second generation. He came in and he sort of brought a lot of that stuff in. This is a meditation room. It's built underground to the point, they've got the earth on top. Room and all that. But
gorgeous.
The sound is very dead when you go there. The tone is so earthy. It doesn't get the resonance going. But anyway,
so there's no echo. It's like a natural anechoic chamber, is it?
It's just dead. It's so weird.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, dead or alive with that with that container.
Anyway, that was really interesting. So what's the other one? Talking to the mountains. We played the Hall of the Mountain King.
Yeah. I mean, like people talk to their dogs, why not talk to, the mountain, the rock, yes. I think in terms of how do we be in connection? What is possible? What is to loosen up our own sort of rigidity of what is and what isn't, and just I think engage in that, sort of more beginner's mind conversation, and feel into the reverence for life itself. Yeah.
You pluck flowers?
Do I?
Yeah, do you go around plucking flowers and create an arrangement?
And put them in my hair? I do love foraging. I have learned, I've got this wonderful woman here, Uta, and she's taught me about foraging. And I think that's a lovely connection, very natural connection, because of the plants that are so accessible to us that, and then, like collecting them, identifying them, eating them. There is evoking that wildness and that sort of connection with the land in a really beautiful way.
Isn't that what food? Often, medicine will be your food?
Yes. Yes, it is, isn't it? I mean, yeah. And the diversity when, the wildflowers. And Pauline, you've, taught me this as well. We talked about that on my podcast. I had a podcast called Earth Converse podcast, our conversations and relationships with the earth. And you, even on your session, it's like your nature will prepare us for the next season. So,
absolutely.
So at the moment, there's the sort of this kind of like little, I don't know, it's kind of a bit of spicy sort of leafy things happening here to activate our winter, slumber.
I don't know if you've got any ransoms or wild garlic anywhere around where you are, but
there is.
It's starting to poke through.
The
and that's absolutely so good for releasing the past and the hibernation that we've been in winter time, to prepare us, get rid of all and it would be so in keeping with your retreat that's coming up. And it's one of the most favorite things that I do, and I know precisely where they all are in Sussex, but a little bit higher up here, we have to wait another month or so for the wild garlic to be properly through. So
and I remember listening to this podcast. There's this podcast, and this person in New York City, and she's foraging. So this is the thing. It's like it's a beautiful connection point wherever we are. What is possible? I love it.
Yeah, and often those plants are overlooked because they're not seen as they're in the wild, or they're on the hedgerows, or they're just seen as weeds. The dandelions, for instance, they're coming.
Yeah.
The dandelions are coming.
Yeah, sure.
I noticed Penelope's wearing black, so winter is still around.
It is. It's actually, yes. It is. It's kind of colder in my house. There was a beautiful day yesterday, so it's at that sort of like it could go either way. Yes. Yeah. Still got the polar neck on. What was that?
New Zealand habits are hard to die.
Yes, and I'm black. Yeah, that's true.
What about you, Pauline, with black and white?
Yeah, I'm half in, half out. Not sure.
Is it what it is? Harlequin, black and white from the
it's not quite Harlequin black and white, but it's close. It's close. Yeah. Decision making time, one or the other.
Yes. So yes, I have. So we've got the retreat of our original intelligence coming up. That is only part of my work. So I work with leaders around three thresholds really, in terms of we're where there's a time in our lives when we realize we have to look within, that actually the external world goes on and we are reacting to it. So how can we then come into leading ourselves? So I think that's a moment in our lives, or when we stop blaming our parents, we have to go in and actually deal with our own stuff. So I think there's then the like with leadership is about like, actually, I've got this vision, but how do I bring it to the world with others? And so that's about creating the conditions in which people perform. And that's, I've been doing that in a way with Munai, walking alongside her, going from the vision to for her to go into a wider space and be that, that leader. And then my other one is about leading big. So that's when we decide to come into our vision. You shared your vision just before, Pauline, about creating the community for system of natural life. So it doesn't actually have to be big in scale necessarily, but it's actually you are called to do something. This Earth Converse, helping people connect with themselves and each other and the earth is part of my leading big. Munai's with original intelligence, that's her leading big. So there's just moments in our threshold where are points of reflection, and they are points where they take courage and we need new skills. So I just sort of work with leaders at that point when it's like I have to make a leap. I have to release the identity to move into another identity. So and working
and collectively, is that not what we've done or are doing still, where we have the year of the snake, where we've shed the old skin, and the year of the horse is coming in? That's a very
we're
pivotal
here
moment.
that's
we're
the
here.
thing,
Get rid of those skins.
Yes, but this is the thing, once again, where I think, like, how do we release? And that's a beautiful, going back to the mythology of Munai, is that how do we release? And then how do we then reinform? So what do we replace with that? What is the dream we're bringing in? And I think that we are astrologically supported at this time of, the year of the horse. I mean, tomorrow there's Saturn and Neptune. I'm not an astrologist, but I do trust the astrologist who is saying this is a phenomenal point in civilization. People are talking about a civilization reset because Saturn and Neptune haven't been together for 6,000 years or something. I don't know the details, but
story is,
so I think it is like, how do we work with those energies? We might not even understand them, but they're there and other people do understand them. And so it's sort of like, how do we
and from our conversation today, it seems to me that what you would advocate in how to navigate those is to go within, be more quiet, connect with the elements, the earth, the fire, air, water, and recognize that there is something more magical, more reverent than our imagined ideas of who we are.
I think that so coming back to presence, whatever will resource you, whatever it is. It doesn't have to necessarily be the elements, but it's just sort of like what will resource you. And then and from that then it's the next, what else is possible, because that relaxes whatever relaxes our nervous system, so we can be present, that we can be resourceful, that we can bring in our own wisdom, the next great question, the next whatever it is.
Do you do any sweat lodges or saunas?
No, but I would love to do that. I would love to do
really
that.
You're in the wrong country.
But
hop on a plane, darling.
It's also a great metaphor. I mean, we use that metaphor in terms of, I run a trust circles and things like that. Like, how do we create that environment in which we kind of sweat, and what are the conversations that we really need to step into, so it's a good metaphor as well. But there's also something about what our traditions, and and what feels appropriate, not cultural misappropriation, and just what feels right for me.
Hot mineral pools on your island?
There's there's not, but there's I think whatever it is, you can create the space for it, right? Like, what is the environment that will help you with that container? Like in Mallorca, we have because they brought down the carbon down the hill, there's actually circles in the forest, and these are where they stored the carbon, but they're perfectly stone circles. And so I naturally I take groups up there to be in circle, to be in ceremony, because that's what's been created. And so you utilizing what's there. Yeah, they're amazing.
Is that created naturally, or have people actually positioned the stones there?
Yeah,
Which one?
human made. Yeah.
Oh, human intervention.
Storing the carbon, but but it's but there's a lineage there. There's a that's where the communities were. That's where the
carbon footprint.
Yeah, true.
A double entendre.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, when is the next retreat? What are the actual dates for the one that you've been talking about? April something.
Oh, so this is nice. So this is the Original Intelligence retreat in April, 15th to the 19th of April.
15.
So there's there's 5 of us, and so it's, and you've got the website there, haven't you, of Moon Eyes? But like I say, I am, one of
that's one aspect of what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, 1 of 5. Yes. So I just love that you've interviewed her, and then you'll have Melania, and maybe I'll get the other 2 here to convince you to.
Yeah. So Melania is the forager, is she?
No, she is the functional nutritionist. Yeah.
Functional nutritionist.
I can put you in touch with the forager too. Have you had a forager on the
on
the website? Yeah.
She came from North Carolina.
Oh, great. That's lovely.
Well, she got up at 4.
I imagine that there's different plants to forage in America than there are in Mallorca, for instance.
We've had Trish McCormick here. She's a forager. She goes out early and she gets in and gets all the different plants, but she makes tinctures out of them.
Yes, tinctures. Yes, wonderful. Yeah. There's so much wisdom, and I think returning to that. I think particularly in the age of AI, where how do we come back to there's a basic like the basicness of and these traditions. We have to look after our soul.
Yeah, and we have a connection with people that forage the Melissa or laurel or horsetail, and they boil them all up in copper pots, and they go back to a medieval way of alchemy, and it's all done, they're distillation, so they gather the vapors and of the boiling water with the herbs, and they just connect through a spiral connection, come down, condense them down, and they're all water based, so there's no alcohol in them. And there you've just got the pure potent information of the plant, and that's what we tend to use. Wonderful. And that's an alchemaic process that's from the medieval times.
Oh, but I just met Lauren when he was in Greece there. He's the main for the there's an organisation in Australia called Happy Herbs.
Lovely. That's fun.
Yeah, they've got stores all around the place. So he's the major what would you call him? Chef.
Brewer.
Yeah.
Brewer.
Yeah. Happy herbs.
He brews the herbs. Happy herbs.
80 different herbs. They sometimes have to import them into Australia.
I'll look them up. Happy herbs.
They're so fun.
I mean, they are very happy. They can elevate one's mood very easily.
But this is the wisdom of the plants.
Right. What else do you want to talk about, or is there a question that we haven't asked you that you need to ask you? Is there something you want to talk about?
Well, I guess you can ask me anything about
Help us out.
What I do with with the people. I don't know. There's some examples, or or maybe it's just a natural ending.
So okay. So bottom line is you're on this little island here. Boom, boom. So where do all your people come to for the retreats, where they originate from? Are they on the island, or they come from Spain?
Yeah, in terms of the island or Europe, there's people being from Costa Rica, or so I think it's sort of what attracts people will come. There's goodness, now there is a direct flight from New York to Mallorca, so it's a very accessible. Yeah, very accessible, popular, place to come. And so, yeah, I mean, I traditionally, in terms of working, I've worked, across sort of like 5 continents. And so I've been, in the past, worked for organizations that are bigger than me. So in terms of leadership, so the reach is large, and basically either, Europe, or, there's been countries in Africa or America. So it ranges, but definitely
so you really
European
are part
base.
of the global, you're part of the global family,
The global family, aren't we all? The
global community that Radio
yes.
FM 88 is all about.
Yes,
Community
what a
radio station.
wonderful. Yes, yeah.
Big question I got to ask you. Big question.
Mm.
Where do you see yourself
Go
in
on.
10 years?
Where do I see myself in 10 years' time? It is a big question. It's a very good one. Yeah.
It's a bit different for people like who work in the now, eh? Like, you talk to so many people I've met, and about being in the now. And when you're in the now, things just manifest.
Yeah.
It comes together.
I think that's a very good, yes, like how do we have a clear vision? I do feel like I will be in community, I think. I feel like I'm very independent. I'm in independent areas, and so but I feel like part of that is to be in connection with community, like being actually in relationship. And so a vision of a beautiful place where we can create this lived experience and offer our retreats in a container, in a way, on the land that we care for, so I feel that's part of my vision there. Yes.
The largest homeless market in Australia is single females over 60 years old.
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see that.
Yeah, so the thing is that they do get married, they do have children, and then they need to do a date night. So the date nights slip away because they've got the children, then they have the grandchildren, and so marriage is split up, proceeds are split up in the middle, and then gets to a point that the ladies like to live in the custom, in the manner that they've been accustomed to, and except the funds are drying up, and then it's a question of where we're going to live.
Yeah.
And because, here in Australia, so many people into Australia here that there's a housing shortage, and that's seen the spike in the rentals as well as properties. It's just so to see people for the very first time in Australia, living under bridges or in tents, parks.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah, there's something wrong, isn't it, in society? Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? How do society treat the most vulnerable? Is always an indicator of where we've advanced as a human species, right?
When I arrived in Australia, there was 7 million people.
Yeah.
So they were up to around 24, 25 million. And that wasn't through procreation. So, trying to keep up with the immigration that's coming in, the housing is just not happening. And so somehow, you've got to just turn off the tap. Unfortunately, you've got to turn the tap off, and so that you can recalibrate and put your services and all that stuff. Because you are building community. The community is your country, where it's trying to provide you with medical services and education, and defence and roads and public transport and entertainment as part of your tribe. But it's causing too much bloody anguish for a lot of people. And sure where we're going with this. We've had so many different people on the show, and then you watch something like Jeremy Clarkson and his Clarkson's Farm, and you realise for the very first time, people in the cities are, it's been brought to their awareness what it's like to live on a farm and be in a little community and try and put food on the table. And then here you are tonight talking about Riversdale and the post office closed and the impact that it had on the, and Jeremy Clarkson said the same.
Yeah.
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 Doctors go and you have to go to the nearest town, or the bank's closed, you have to go to the nearest town. And if you're someone over 60 and you've got to learn to get on the internet to buddy do your bank payments through the internet.
Yes, really. Yeah.
And a lot of this, you talk about the ladies over 60 being the largest proportion of the people that are homeless. For instance, culturally, in Africa, for instance, a man would have maybe 11 wives and all the wives would get on with each other. And if he were to die or he were to leave, all the women would gather together, club together, and they would be there as a supportive network. So they would not be so much in isolation. So there's so many different cultures around the world doing different things that we could all learn from each other a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, there are lots of models, and like what is it that we want, and what is possible. And when to be homeless is in that situation, but that's pretty dire. And it's like, how do we then create containers to help people come out of that? And when there are so many resources, this is the inequality of that exists. And so here on the island there's like second home, third home, fourth homes. And then there's there's a crisis for either local people it requires that a certain type of people can only afford to live here. I mean, that's a system that's not really working. That's not in flow, is it? That is not the dream. That's not the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible, as Charles Eisenstein would say. Yeah. So there are some fundamental flaws of that.
You have a look at your community where you were born, and you have a look at New Zealand as a society. When did your mum dad get married in the 50s, 60s?
Yeah, what were they? 50s, 60s.
Right. So in the 60s there, a new married mother would get her cookbook. Everybody got it. It's number one. It's still the number 5 book.
We've got the Edmonds cookbook, yeah.
Everybody got the cookbook. Then the girls who just had babies would have the Karitani nurse. They have to go and see the Karitani nurse to get the baby weighed and see what the baby's like. And then there'll be play centre, or there'll be kindergarten, And of course, those young married girls, they would work and network together. Say, look, Penelope, can you look after my children while I go take Jeff off to the doctors? And so this whole little community of mothers all work together to create their community. And of course, I remember at Mum's funeral, I was given the dubious honour to give a talk about my mother. And I said to her, if any of those mothers ever said, Jeffrey Shaw, I'm going to tell your mother, I knew straight away, deep shit. Because they were their version of Windows and buddy texting, that was straight up. But you notice that when they work together and network, when they stepped into real estate, I watched them, and because the male would go in and get a property and try and get the sole agency, the female would go in conjunction and would share the cost.
The
nurturing of building the community. So, and then you had, in Australia we have the Country Women's Association, and in the UK you've got something similar. In New Zealand, League of Mothers. So, those females really grew and created the community, didn't they? And the males went in and built the infrastructure. And I remember going to our football club, and all the boys, all the men, or say it's all the men turned up with their girlfriends and their wives, and they build the put the footings in, and somebody had connections with bloody suppliers of padlocks or bloody windows and doors and stuff like that. So all the boys all clubbed together to build the nest. But the girls were all turned up, and they were all bloody bring out the teas and they bring out the sandwiches. And us kids, we'd be kicking the ball around, and that's how we got to know all our future mates who went to school, and then we built that school network. That's community, isn't it?
Yes,
So trying to gather that and bring that together in a world like Australia, where we've gone from 7 million to 24 million, and most of them have turned up, and we haven't had any cultural connection with them because we never went to school with them, because we just moved on or passed on to that part of that stage, because now you have your own kids, and then those kids then meet their kids, and then that's how you network. And then it's through sport. Australia through sports really brought people together. So, when you talk about community and you get your retreats, trying to establish that community and build it, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of emotional support rather than just a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it sure does. Oh, you've covered so much in that. I think it's the sort of the archetypal of the male or the female. The male is sort of the focus, and the typically the female wanting to about connection, about weaving those connections. I think it is about how do we help people in community to feel in and to be integrated? How do we do that? What it takes to build community. I mean, you've been doing it here with the radio station. I mean, it takes time, right? And building that trust. And
well, actually, in Denmark, in Copenhagen, they did this workshop, and everybody came in, and they were all different colors of the spectrum and all different religions. And the facilitator said, how many have grown up with a mother and father? Step over here. Okay. Who's grown up with just the mother? Okay. Who stepped up with a father?
Yes.
Who's stepfather or stepmother? Okay. Now, how many of you have loved soccer or football? Okay. And so what actually happened? Everybody then changed position. Who loves steak? Who loves vegetarian food? And these people would move from these little eccentric groups, and then moved around until the point. Oh, I didn't know you like that. Did you like playing cards? You got a skateboard. So all of a sudden, there's these individuals from all different parts of the world in bloody Denmark and Copenhagen, and all of a sudden, by the time the 3 hours is up, we've all become mates and friendships, and
that's a lovely example. Areas of commonality. Where do we connect? Where can we feel into that? Into the truth of that. Beautiful.
Well, there is a commonality in what you've just said, that each and every one of us has a mother and has a father. We wouldn't be here otherwise. Well, that's a fairly fairly good assumption to go with.
At some level. At some level. At some level.
IVF.
Oh, yes.
There's an egg and a sperm, right? There's that.
That's another. That's another
that's
game, isn't it?
That's a definite. But,
in England, it was Louise Brown was the first IVF baby in 1978, I think it was.
Crikey.
Yeah. But even she had to come from an egg and a sperm.
Yes. But we're lucky to be here. That's, I'm very grateful participant in life here on this moment.
We don't know how science has gone after they've cloned Dolly the sheep to cloning.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Dolly. She's still around.
And I do connect with the idea that we are on a threshold at the moment. That you talked about the 3 thresholds that you look to in your leadership, but globally,
yes,
as a species, we're on a threshold of letting go of that which is no longer serving us. And you talk about the homelessness in Australia, or I see that in India or Israel. This is not serving the greater good of humanity, other than to move us away from where we are now and to recognize there is a better way.
Yeah, I do think we are in terms of humanity. I think that, and there's, lots of people talk about, where there is about the new story or the new earth. There is a whole lot of letting go. We're seeing that in terms of sort of the structures, the systems. We see that they're failing and it's not working, and it's like, and we're seeing this hypocrisy. We're seeing the system for what it is, and we're seeing more clearly about that. Actually, that's not working, and alongside we've got incredible devastation and of our natural environment. We've got wars. We've got so I mean it's not working. We could do better, class.
Do better, said the teacher. Could do better.
I do think, but this is the power of actually, what are we? We are co-creators, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we are. We're not just passive, and so even in day-to-day life, we're co-creating. But if actually we're into, what is my heart saying? What is the truth of that? And what do I want to? How do I want to bring in my potential, my gifts, and how do we connect and co-create together, and what is possible, and creating that movement of consciousness of humanity at its best.
Yeah, I found that when it comes to conflicts, the conflicts are those of ideas, and if you like, ideas of how it should be. But what you're advocating, going back to the elements, if we find our common ground, we can move through any kind of conflict, because the common ground is greater and bigger than the idea. Let go of an idea.
Yeah, and there's possible
it's a really good idea.
futures. There's futures, isn't it? So there's a sort of plurality of that. It's not just one single idea. It's actually what is else possible, and so the acceptance of other ways of living and other ways of being.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, it's come.
I'll tell you what, I'd be based on the Mr. Epstein. I'd just go to anybody and say, I'll give you amnesty if you come forth and shed light on your role and what you've gone and done, and you see the dramatic process that takes place.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see it unfold. But there are, we have to be accountable for our actions, right? Yeah, and and how can we learn, like in our personal life, when there's a crisis and there's what is the learning? How do we go forward? I mean, that is interesting at an individual level or a collective level. How do we, rather than sort of that shame, or sort of like once again,
shame. Now they've been compromised.
And as Babaji says, there is no saint without a past and no sinner without a future.
Yeah, I do. So
let's get on with it.
Yeah, let's get on with it. All right.
Yep. It seems like an apt quote to be finishing up with.
Yes. Thank
right.
you. Thank you both.
Yep. No saint without
Thank you for the trip down memory lane, and thank you
my goodness
for listening into this. And,
and
thank you for creating community. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm a conscious one of that.
It's brilliant. It's so good to see you again, Penny.
Yeah, same feeling. Yeah.
Thank you very much, darling.
Ciao. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Bye.